These kids, they're coming to my house 9:30 in the morning. When they turn 18, they have to leave where they're at same day, first thing in the morning, because they're no longer considered a minor. We're throwing breakfast and birthday parties for them. When they come, they really are questioning, is this real life? Am I really able to stay here by myself and, not have supervision? That's the big one. Who lives here with me? Who's going to be checking in? When they hear that they have a little bit of freedom, we just really check in on you every day. Then you can see a little bit of positivity come from them. That independent light is kind of shining in their head.
Welcome to Unlocking Commerce and Business. I'm Connie Davis. Like a lighthouse cutting through fog, this marketplace of voices illuminates where commerce systems break down and what's already working to repair them. We go deep into communities, exploring where pain hides behind financial systems, uncovering extraction patterns in relationships, blocks in money movement, and barriers creating economic instability for vulnerable populations. From survivors of economic abuse to system innovators, these conversations don't just diagnose, they point toward trauma-informed, human-centered solutions. Essential listening for collaborators, partners, funders, and change makers building regenerative alternatives. Welcome to the era of restorative commerce. Now let's get into today's conversation. Okay, guys, welcome back. Thank you for being here with us today. We are actually here at ARC Innovation Labs down here in St. Pete and at the guest of Wesley and the Bitcoin Bay Foundation. Super excited about the collaboration around economic inclusion. And my guest today here is Crystal Wharton, a beautiful community leader that has been really collaborative with me and all of the work that we're doing between the nonprofit and the for-profit work and all of the things that we're doing in the community here to really draw out the importance of economic inclusion, economic stability. But Crystal, you are the founder of the Cali Project. Can you tell us a little bit about what your mission is?
Yes, thank you, Connie, for having me. Super excited to work with you and collaborate with you on all things for our vulnerable populations. So my name is Crystal. I am the executive director of the Cali Project, caring about living individuals, and we provide housing and supportive service for vulnerable populations. We have an independent living home for youth that's aging out of foster care, victims of human trafficking, at risk of homelessness, and we provide a mentorship program, a mental health clinic, and a workforce development program that all work as an ecosystem for the individuals in our transitional living home.
Wow, it's a big mission you were on. So tell us about this crown and sash. What are you doing there?
Yes, so I am representing as a beauty queen. So I am titled Mrs. Tampa Bay Petite. And next weekend, I'm actually going to be competing in the Florida State Pageant.
Oh,
so I'll be competing for the Florida title.
So exciting. Congratulations on the milestones there.
Yeah.
I think there's such a visual representation of the stepping back into your power and all of the empowerment work that you're doing with your nonprofit.
Yeah.
That little those what do they call them, accessories, help us really visually represent how we can bring that power from the inside out.
That's good.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the journey that you've been on with the Cali Project and really what it started out to be and what it is today.
For sure. So we have been on this journey with the Cali Project it'll be 2 years next month. So very excited to be celebrating our 2-year anniversary. And really, what it looked like, what it started like was not good. So when we first started this, we really did not have any experience. This was my first time even delving into this demographic, this population, and I really did not know what to expect. And when we started providing housing for the girls, we really felt like we were housing their trauma and their baggage. Nobody was getting healed or restored. Nobody was going to school or working or anything. They were having dramatic episodes and depressive episodes and mental health episodes. And so that really helped me to put a pause on what I was doing and to figure out what exactly do these individuals need. And what I figured that they need was mental health counseling, mentorship, and then also workforce development. And so that's really what created those programs that now serve as an ecosystem for them.
Yeah. And I can't echo enough the importance of the structure that you're bringing them, the caring environment, and the shelter, right? At the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy is shelter.
Yeah.
You cannot get out of survival mode without moving from shelter and into a sheltered environment so that you can start decompressing from all of the things. You touched on an area of them not doing anything. And that, for my audience, because we talk about in this show, we're unlocking commerce. And you talked about they're locked up physically, locked up emotionally, locked up economically, not going to school where they can better themselves. So tell me a little bit more about the journey that you've taken them through and where you started to see that kind of light crack open inside of them.
So I have been very fortunate to work with different community partners out in the Tampa Bay area, and they really have rallied around the Cali Project. And so we have a dedicated house therapist, and she meets with our girls once a week. And then we also do group therapy classes once a month. And that is really when I found that we were turning the corner. A lot of this has to do with mental health, trauma episodes, stigma, not wanting to see a therapist because it's makes you feel like you're going to be labeled a certain way. And really normalizing that and destigmatizing that is kind of what my goal and passion was for them to just feel like this is a normal workshop that we're having. It's fun, it's light, it's free, but at the end of the day, we're still getting down to what needs to be talked about and coping skills and addressing certain wounds that might not necessarily be prevalent.
Right. Or on the surface, sometimes they don't even know that they're there.
Exactly. And that serves as a trigger. And then something's happening. It's an episode all of a sudden. So.
Yeah. So I recently had an opportunity to immerse with you on a Saturday at your photo shoot. So you did a photo shoot with the girls, and we captured a few interviews with your community, and getting them talking about internal and external beauty was so revealing as far as the level of processing that they're doing on the inside of themselves, trying to figure out how to balance the inside with the outside and all of the expectations of the outside beauty industry really was something that a lot of the girls talked about. Can you talk a little bit about how you plan on using your Miss Petite platform to really help them find that balance?
Yes. So truthfully, thank you so much for coming to that day. That was really to get me prepared for the beauty pageant journey that I'm on. That was for me to get my headshots done. And so I really created a whole workshop for the girls so that they did hair, makeup. They got to do a photo shoot. They got to go shopping for dresses that they were able to keep. And then you were there to do podcasting and for them to do positive affirmation. So that is my representation of destigmatizing mental health, because when you feel your best, you really show that on the outside. And so all of that starts on the inside. And I really want to use this platform to champion those girls that feel that they're not enough. Their background disqualifies them. They might feel, that they will never amount to anything. They're always going to be where they currently are, just to show them that that is not the truth. That is not the case. You literally have the power in your own makeup to do whatever you want to do. And I literally started this journey 17 years ago when I was pregnant as a teen high schooler. So I was pregnant as a senior in high school and was feeling that, I was never going to amount to anything. I was never going to make it out of the situation. And again, it really has to deal with your internal mindset and knowing that this is not the end. This is really just the beginning. And I now have the power to rewrite my story.
You have done that. I mean, you've literally done that. So coming from a place of literally where they've walked in their shoes and they thought that they were alone, You came in and took them by the hand and said, let me give you a place of shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give you some care and wraparound services that we call it in nonprofit world, to help you unlock that place that you're frozen in.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you for
And
the
that's
work that
my
you're
thing,
doing.
because I didn't understand that people truly get stuck where they are until I went through that. And so now I was like, wow, like, okay, you're stuck. I need to bring you the skills. I need to bring you the people that are going to be able to move you to where you need to be. And again, bringing all of that to the house. They don't even have to go anywhere. I'm bringing all of this to them.
It's an all-inclusive type of experience that you're immersing them in to unlock that greatness that's inside of them.
Because it's
Wow.
there. It's
Yeah,
definitely
it's
there.
powerful. And they don't have to wear a crown
No,
to feel that.
you don't.
Yeah, I got to see it. I mean, this, just the confidence that came out in them at the photo shoot, watching you go through the photo shoot and seeing their facial features come to light, that spirit. There's something, we talked a lot about inner beauty, and we talked about what does makeup mean to you? And the makeup conversation with a couple of the girls was really around, I don't need it. It just enhances my beauty.
I love that.
And that was a really powerful thing that they said. How do you feel that the beauty pageant industry is really empowering you for this type of work to really find the balance between the TikTok and the social media kind of work that happens and the imagery and that internal power that you're talking about?
Yeah. So very fortunate for this opportunity to be in the beauty pageant. This is not anything that I ever would have done on my own if it wasn't for my amazing sister queen that is literally forcing me to do this. But it's because she sees something in me, and I really appreciate that, because that is what I do to the girls in my home. So I see your potential, and we're going to bring that out of you. So really grateful for this opportunity, and it really has not only brought my confidence to life, but it's really helping me to be able to sit in moments where I usually would have wanted to retreat or, not be the face, or not be, at the star of the show or anything like that. I'm very comfortable behind the scenes. I really thrive in that world. I really enjoy propping other people up and making sure that they are, the star of the show. So total night and day for me. So this is definitely something new that I am embracing, trusting my faith that, there's already a plan laid out, and I'm just walking through with purpose.
Right, right. And Crystal, what do you need the community to help you with? What is it that they, as a community leader, because this show is really about change makers and community leaders and helping individual thought leaders or officials at the municipal level or inside of a corporation really get close to where the system is failing our youth. Mm-hmm. And what would you say to that?
I would say there are so many gaps. There are so many bridges that need to be built or connected. There might even be bridges that are already there, but just need to be dusted off, So really, bringing the community together, because the community is the one that is able to solve these issues for our neighbors, essentially. And I really feel that funding needs to be there for these programs. I self-fund my entire nonprofit. I work a 9-to-5 job so that I'm able to pay for the housing and the programs. So if the funding was already there, then I would be able to be a little bit more impactful with everything that I'm doing, just because I am one person. So I can only, concentrate on a certain amount of things at a certain time. But I really feel that the support needs to be there for funding, because that's where the gaps are.
And these are individuals. Let's talk about your community. Let's talk about who you're bringing into the home and the types of support and the expenses that you're seeing around those individuals, because funding is kind of a broad conversation, right? There's so much that goes out into the community already. And there's a lot that comes in as well from corporates. But you and I both know, right, raising funds in a nonprofit world today, where there's a lack of trust, there's been some questionable activities of organizations. And you're right, impact matters. People want to see the stories. They want to understand the transformation. You're a transformation story in your own timeline. Where are the most like gaps in funding? Like, are there some specifics that if people are sitting and listening to the audience now going, I might have something,
Mm-hmm.
where would you need those immediately applied, like your top three?
Yeah, I would definitely say number one is going to be transportation for these youth. They don't have money to get around, so they're having to take public transportation. We are very fortunate to partner with Ready for Life, and they provide bus passes, and they actually have provided one of our girls a $200 Lyft gift card for transportation to get to and from school. So I would say that transportation is definitely a huge need. Even education. So a lot of our kids, they're aging out of foster care. So they are either finishing up their GED or finishing up their high school diploma. A lot of them are not motivated to do so. So I'm really having to step in and be a big advocate for them when it comes to completing their education. I'm very big on that. And a lot of what they want to do going forward, it might not be a 4-year college or a 2-year college. They might want to do a trade. They might want to be an entrepreneur. So the vouchers that they receive, they don't cover that. And so essentially the kids just stop going to school because they don't see their future and they don't see that that's able to be funded so that they can pursue their educational career goals, essentially. So I would definitely say increasing the funds around what is acceptable for them for continuing education or career readiness. And then also I would say workforce development for sure. These kids, if they don't have a high school diploma or a GED, what stable wage paying jobs are they going to get? So really making sure that opportunities are lined up for them, internships, entry-level jobs that are paying stable wages. We partner with Grow Financial and we do a career readiness workforce development program twice a year. And the kids are able to move forward with internships and entry-level jobs with Grow Financial as soon as that workshop is finished. And they're making like $17, $18 an hour working part-time. So really making sure that those opportunities are accessible to that demographic.
I think those are really, really important. There's a lot of opportunity to support that too from the community with resources and capital. There's social capital. There's actual hard capital, dollars that actually can support. Let's talk about the dynamics in the house. And when they first come in, what is the transformation that stands out in your mind most when they come into the house? The experience of immersing into something stable with adults that care, that isn't going to be a threatening environment. What is that? Can you take us through like a journey that really stands out to you?
For sure. And it's really funny because a lot of kids, when they come to our house, they think that they're still in the foster care system where technically they are. This is called extended foster care, but much more lax, so it's an independent living home. The kids, when they're 18, we're really just there to guide them, provide structure, routine, opportunities. We're not there to be their dictator. We're not there to be, their mother or anything like that. We're really just there to be a supportive individual in their lives and in their journey. And so that is what I really have transformed myself to become. When I first started this, I really took the role of, the house mom very serious. And I was very, on them and very, hey, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And it's like, they don't need that. They really need somebody that is there to advocate for them and to suggest things and, bring them different opportunities that they just don't even know exist. But if you're able to do it in a fun, more approachable way, that is definitely going to bring them over to you. Yeah. And so these kids, they're coming to my house 9:30 in the morning. When they turn 18, they have to leave where they're at, same day, first thing in the morning, because they're no longer considered a minor. So we're throwing breakfast and birthday parties for them. Essentially, when they come, they really are questioning, is this real life? Am I really able to stay here by myself and, not have supervision? That's the big one. Like, who lives here with me? Who's going to be checking in? And so when they hear that they have a little bit of freedom, nobody actually lives here, we just really check in on you every day, then you can see a little bit of positivity come from them. That independent light is kind of shining in their head, which is really great. And then kind of from there, really just making sure that they are plugged in with their primary care, making sure that they are getting dentist visits, making sure that their school is where they need to be or getting them enrolled, looking at job opportunities for them. Do they have a resume? So really doing a full intake assessment as to where are they currently, and then what goals are we going to be working on while they're with us.
Yeah. And thank you for providing that detail, because I asked the question for an intentional reason. And that is, what I picked up early on is that these are children that have been, taken over in a sense by the state, because their parents and all of the economic activity that happens in the home, usually from a parent to a child, and all of the things that monetarily they need to do that. And you've actually kind of come in as that, what do they call that? The pseudo parent, the surrogate parent in a way of the state, having funding for this type of program, but we know it's leaving gaps. And we know that at 18, especially with the cost of housing, especially with the cost of, affordable transportation, living, inflation, all of the things that normal American families are under pressure to manage. Can't even imagine why, an 18-year-old would know how to do that coming from the foster community.
Exactly.
So what are their sentiments on the period of time that they actually feel they go from that, okay, am I in a real place, before you really see them settle in and really show like who they truly are or their potential?
So we usually give them about a month to settle in. During that time frame, there's a lot of rule breaking, boundaries being tested. We're used to that. We're very well versed with that. But from that month time frame, that is when the relationship is getting established, the trust is getting established, and the reciprocity is getting established.
Yeah. Okay.
So that it's an exchange. It's not just, a dictatorship. It's we're in a relationship. I'm here to support you. You're here to get all of that you can from this opportunity. And about after the first month, when, all of the rules have been broken, essentially, is when we're able to start fresh. I'm able to see who they truly are, because, that first month is going to be a honeymoon stage, essentially. And then the real comes out, and then we're able to start from that level and then build on from there. And then I would say maybe about 3 months in is when you'll see the progress that has been made. And it might not be everyday progress that you're seeing, but it definitely comes in strides, and you're able to see, wow, they were sleeping in all day and now they're actually following through with the routine. They're up at 9 a.m. They're out of the house. They're doing something productive. So I would give it about 3 months.
3 months. Okay. Now that's a typical, we know it takes 21 days to form a new habit, really to embody the changes that you're starting to feel, and you're immersed in with, as an example.
Yeah.
And that's probably an area that even in foster systems, maybe depending on how many times they've been moved, they've never really had a chance to stabilize.
Yes. A lot of my girls come to me. They were on night to night, which means that they were at a different foster home every single night when they were under 18. So when they come to my house and they are, sneaking out, or they're breaking rules or breaking curfew, that's really when I'm level setting to them, saying, hey, you don't have to do that. This is your house. This is your home. You don't have to run away. You don't have to sneak out. You don't have to break curfew. You just need to communicate and let me know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so that is huge for
that
them.
is huge.
It's stability.
Absolutely. And they haven't had that. And that stability is, instead of kind of being, this liability to the system, now they're learning that they can become their own asset.
Correct.
And I want to switch the conversation a little bit. I want to pivot us into the reason we're sitting here at Bitcoin Bay Foundation, here at ARC Innovation Labs, is because Bitcoin actually is the poster child for mining your value, for acquiring assets, for holding and self-custodying those assets, for creating sound money and sound situations for yourself to use as leverage to go out into the community, into the world and serve, or to, be of service to society through your business in an entrepreneurial way.
Yeah.
So can we talk a little bit about their concept of money and their concept of compensation for their skills and their values?
Yeah. So that is a very good topic, just because they really don't have any concept of money. They really don't have any value of it. When they're in foster care, I believe they get a allowance of like $40 a month, and they break that up weekly. And when they are 18, they then get a stipend monthly of about $450 a month. And that is supposed to help them with all of their groceries and, things that they need to get through for that month. But that money goes very quickly. That money, in most cases, is often spent before they get it. It's definitely gone by the first week. And so it's really kind of survival mode from there. And we have partnered with countless institutions to help with budgeting and planning, and it's still a very hard concept for them. They feel that, when they get it, they've got to spend it. Savings is just virtually not a thing. So really being able to instill in them, goals, saving plans. One of our girls, she had money and we helped her save up to get her first car. So that was a goal that we were setting. So yes, you have all this money in your bank account, but what are we using that for? Are we using that for DoorDash, or are we really going to save and get this car? So putting tangible goals for them to help them visualize what they want this money to accomplish is very helpful. But again, it takes a village to instill in them that money is a tool. Money is to be valued and in the right places to be invested.
Yeah. And they don't have a concept of how they've actually been able or will be able to create money for themselves and to circulate that money into their world. And, that's one of the things that I really appreciate from kind of this language of Bitcoin and the Bitcoin, project, and what it stands for is the mining and you're doing hard work to build into something, and you're mining value that comes to you by, a reward. And then that, creates this, emotional realization where you self-actualize and you go, well, wait a second, the level of effort that I had to put into solving a problem. And this is a philosophical concept around Bitcoin that I think can get out into the community at a deeper level to really help transform some of these belief systems or lack thereof. And that is that if we can get to a place of, now I'm an asset. I could actually belong somewhere. I can have my own home and mine my own value through education and through, community service, whatever you have them doing through their, their schedule, is they're getting exposed to ways that they actually build social capital, that they build, these assets for themselves. And then that maybe we can help them really start to understand where they're going to bridge with the future of money. Yeah. And that's a big reason why I love the population that you're serving is just a perfect example of where we can take Bitcoin next, where we can talk about sound money principles and structure to give them a set of visual representation of what this could look like when they really put their efforts and invest that time into something like that.
Yes. And that's what they need. They just need a focal point.
Yeah.
And they will do the work. Yeah. They just need guidance and structure.
Yeah. And I think as women, women think about about money differently than men do. We kind of steward it through the home, and you're talking about that in the home itself and the types of expenses that you've had to, steward for these women to come in. Is it a co-ed facility or is it just girls?
So we have 2 locations. So we have a location that is for boys and more vulnerable populations. So people that are homeless, veterans, people that are really having some severe mental health episodes, we have one location, and then we have our youth that have aged out of foster care, that it's girls at a different location.
Okay. And I know Cali means, what does Cali mean? Because I know it's an acronym.
Cali is Caring About Living Individuals, and that's also my 4-year-old daughter's name.
Oh, it's amazing. Amazing. Okay. So any final requests for the community to support you, what you need, people you need to meet, you want to connect with, things like that, people that, your community, your residents actually need, what can help you guys most on your journey?
Yes. So we are putting pen to paper and we are planning out a leadership youth summit, and that's going to be in a couple weeks, but we're really wanting to host that quarterly, where we're looking for a panel of entrepreneurs that's able to come and talk to these kids about their journeys, their lives, their careers. It's very important for me for these kids to get exposed to different career industries and opportunities, especially at this age, so that they can play around and figure out what they're interested in. Additionally, we have lots of opportunities for mentorship. We have a monthly meetup every single month for boys and for girls, and we're always looking for people that are just out in the community that feel drawn to this population. We make it fun. The last boys event we did was at Topgolf. The last girls event we did was a Galentine's Day party. So always wanting to open that up to the community. And then lastly, we're going to be celebrating our 2-year anniversary next month. Can't believe we made it 2 years.
Yeah.
I know.
It's a long journey.
It's a lot going on.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So we're going to be having that celebration on April 18th. It's a Saturday at the VFW over in St. Pete. So would love for people to come and support. It is a fundraising celebration to help us with the house and the programs, but would love the community support for that.
That's amazing. Well, Crystal, thank you for the work that you're
Yes,
doing.
thank
Best
you,
of luck at
Connie.
your
This is
pageant next
awesome.
weekend. What is that experience going to look like for you?
It's been an experience for sure. So I've already attended our seminar, so I am aware of what's going to be happening. So I'll be doing an interview with the judges. I'll be doing an evening gown portion, a fitness portion, and then an onstage question. So really just mentally getting myself ready for that.
That's amazing. And that's next Saturday?
It's next Saturday, March 14th.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we got just enough time to get this episode out the door to support you as you go and do your stage walk and presence and make your
walking into purpose.
Walking into purpose. I love it. I love it. Well, this is Connie Davis. Thank you for signing in to listen to this episode with Crystal Wharton. She's an amazing thought leader in the community, and I'm so honored to work with you and to help boost up this community and the youth, because they are our future leaders.
Yes, they really
They're
are.
our future account holders at the banks and the financial institutions, and they deserve our attention.
They matter.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to be signing off for today. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Unlocking Commerce and Business. If this conversation resonated, here's what you can do. Subscribe for weekly conversations with survivors, innovators, and change makers, building regenerative alternatives to extractive commerce. Share this episode with collaborators, partners, funders, and change makers in your network. The people ready for restorative commerce need to hear these voices. Drop a comment below. Tell us what patterns you're recognizing or what solutions you're building. We read every one. Commerce is everywhere, and healing extraction patterns inside our communities creates regenerative commerce outside. Like a lighthouse, we're here, exploring and cutting through fog, pointing toward what works. Welcome to the era of restorative commerce. Until next time, explore courageously, build sovereignly. You are the source and store of value. This is Connie Davis, signing off. Thank you for being here.